Hey, great job with the week one stuff. Good to see you moving along. This next video is really just about some settings that I like to have with my Illustrator that I feel make me work a little bit better. Maybe you'll find them helpful too, but we'll take a look at them all the same just so you can definitely feel like you're, maybe he's using something else or something different. Yeah, it's going to be the same setup if you use this video. So, the big thing is open Illustrator first. And if you're in Windows or Mac, this is in two different places. I think Windows might be under File and then Settings or Preferences. In Mac, it's under the Illustrator name. And then in Preferences, and we'll just select General to start us off. So this menu is kind of every little thing that you can do with Illustrator. Use Japanese crown marks, use precise cursors, all these different type of things that are kind of interesting, but maybe they are a little different for you. But show tooltips is always on for me. That means when you hover over stuff. Anti-Alias Artwork means when you bring in pictures and stuff for your tracing paths, that it should have a little extra smoothness to it, or continue to appear smooth. Over here is keyboard increment. Now, keyboard increment is kind of important. I have it in inches at the moment, but if you go in, it's 0.139 for me. That's the equivalent of 1 pixel. So just if you see something in Illustrator that says inches or whatever, you can totally ignore that and say, well, I want it to be in pixels instead. So instead of saying, 1 inch, right? Or I could say 5 points, PT. That'll translate to inches automatically. Or I can say 1 px. So I change it so that my keyboard is always moving around 1 pixel. I think Illustrator has that different by default. Selections. This kind of goes over what you already saw, but it shows you what they're going to look like. Snap to point, all that type of stuff is kind of interesting. Type, you can choose how far away your type space. Now, units is pretty cool. It's going to determine how stuff is measured. And I have stuff in inches in general, and that may be different for European versions or whatever, so change general to inches if you want to match me on stuff. Stroke and type, that's stuff that we haven't touched yet, but it's it's mostly the same. Grids and guides. What you can do is pause this video at any point and basically look and make sure that our stuff matches. Slices, I don't really tend to touch much of this. One of the big things I do is appearance of black, make sure it's all displayed as rich black. Output all blacks as rich blacks. File handling in clipboard, that's all the same. So really the biggest thing here, you can even change. I do like my user interface to be a little bit on the darker side of things, but Illustrator's default has it up there in light. So you can even make Illustrator look pretty dark. Like that's kind of cool looking, actually. I may put that on myself, but so there's a lot of different kind of stuff that you can do to make your Illustrator environment a little bit better. And finally, when you have a layout of tools that you feel comfortable with or like, it's probably not wise to do that now while you're still learning. But you can come up here and you can just say save this workspace and then name it something like Tuts Plus, Toots Plus, whatever I'm supposed to say. And you can see it puts it up there and adds it to a little custom list. So it's really about, getting a layout that you feel comfortable with and making sure that all the settings are your own. So that's tweaking your settings. I'll see you next week. Have a great weekend. And that's it. That's it for me. Great job.